Hello and welcome to this special series of episodes called 29 Days of Magic. During Black History Month, the month of February, I'll be interviewing a Black woman a day who's from business and entrepreneurship. You name it, I'm going to have a chat with her. The idea for this is to show off the amazingness of Black women throughout various industries. I hope you take a listen, like, share, review, and be inspired by these incredible stories. Take a listen. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Munoz, CEO of the Cultural Communications Agency, D-Flash. Each episode, I bring on a different business leader from all walks of life, talking about what they've learned, how they got here, and so much more. I'm so excited to have Renee King, who's the founder and CEO of FundBlackFounders. I'm going to talk about her career journey, like why she created a company, why you should fund Black Founders like yesterday, and so much more. It's going to be a great conversation. Take a listen. Hey, Renee.
Hey, Laura. How are you?
Freezing here in New York City because it's snowing outside.
Yes, the weather is crazy.
It hasn't snowed this much in New York City in like a decade.
And then it just dumped it all on us. Like, thanks.
It was like, I'm holding all this snow here. I don't want to let go. Oh, wait, you know what I should do? February 2nd. Here you go. Boom. Like, okay, awesome. Splendid. As if we weren't trapped inside. It's like this is the one thing about COVID. It's even taken away snow days. Because snow days, you're like, oh, well, I have to work from home. I'm not really going to do anything. And now, because we're already home, you can't really enjoy a snow day because I was already home. So
I know it's rather annoying, but yes. Yes.
It
was pretty for a minute, but it's freezing.
Yeah, it was cute for like 5 seconds. Then I'm like, you know what? No. But even though we're trapped inside, the podcast remains the same, and the first question remains the same. So Renee, what was your first job?
Oh my goodness. So I think, like when you're growing up, you have like a whole bunch of little odds and end jobs. So I don't really count those as whatever they are, but I count my first legit job that like actually afforded me enough money to like, buy like legit things. I will say was my job with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep in the Bronx and Brooklyn. And I had to go around and talk to physicians about Viagra, Zithromax, and Lipitor, and Norvat.
Sweet
yes.
Baby
Jesus. Yes. This is what I did. I walked around and talked to them about the importance of prescribing life-changing medicines, to say the least. It was a fun job though. It was fun. I did it like through college, and then like I did it as an intern during college, and then they offered me a full-time position right out of college, and then I was doing that for a couple of years. Pharmaceutical sales back then was really cushy, by the way. It's not like that anymore.
Because my first job out of college was working for a pharmaceutical sales agency, a marketing agency, and I remember like, this is a scam. It's like these people are making way too much money for. I don't think I'm doing a lot of work here.
I mean, so it is very interesting because you learn that not all doctors are legit, like they have your best interests and they keep up to date with like education and all that stuff. And there are some doctors who really rely on pharmaceutical sales reps to give them their information. So it was a challenge. That part you learn that not all doctors are like, the joke was, what do you call the doctor who graduated at the end, at the bottom of their class? And the response is doctor. They're still called doctor. You don't know like if they had great grades. Yeah, they like barely passed the bar, but for all you know, are they keeping up with stuff? So you learn a lot, and it was a very cushy job. It was very like just more so building relationships versus talking about product. And like the stronger the relationship, unfortunately, the stronger they would start, prescribing the medicines I was talking to them about. And luckily, I do believe the medicines that I did have were really good. So I don't think I was doing harm for the most part. But
Oh no, I think you were assisting in enjoyment, so you were not
yes,
hurting at all.
I was assisting enjoyment. They were really like first in class medicines. So that I do believe in. But yeah, it definitely like taught me a lot about relationship building. And that's what it is. Relationships. People don't really like, these physicians didn't even want to hear about like the medicine. They just wanted to know like, so who are you dating? What's going on? What's new with this? They wanted the gossip. I would like, pharmaceutical sales rep for them is like a reprieve from them like seeing patients. That's what it is. So you give them a joke, they'll write your product. It's so sad that I'm saying this, but yes, that's the truth. It's the truth. That was my like day. My day was like taking them out to dinner, talking to them a little bit, and just being like, all right, so let's go get some wine. Let's go like bring the office lunch, talk to them a little bit. It was very.
You bring them the pens.
We goodies.
We used to do all the like. The agency I work for, basically, we would do all the events for the CME credits, which was basically like, again, a scam, because these people would come and be powered by like, one of the big pharma brands, and to get all these doctors to get their CME credits. And like, while they're there, I'll sell for like, hey, you want to go to like Mandarin Oriental? Let's go.
Listen, it was like, it was a cushy job. It's not that anymore. So I don't want to sell false hope to people, because a lot of things have changed as for like how much of that stuff you can give out and how like, how much entertaining you can do, which is good. It changed for the good. But it was wonderful when I was in it.
And you learned a lot, and you learned the power and importance of a relationship.
Sales. That was literally like, that taught me. I think like, and I didn't know that then, but I can see the variety of different ways that like really translated for me, whether it's like learning how to, because when you're doing pharmaceutical sales, you have to like use your visual aid, they call it, which is technically like a binder or a pitch deck, I would say. So your pitch deck, what people call now, you would have like a pitch deck printed out that you would have to go and show to these doctors and like talk to them. And that literally was preparation for like where I'm at right now. It's so interesting.
Yeah. See, and this is the thing I was saying, like every time someone, whatever job kind of pops in their head and says that's their first job, always correlates to what they do now. Like there's a thing that leads to the other thing. Like it kind of this kind of through line to it all.
Yes.
So after you were a amazing saleswoman, how did that career journey change to get us to where we are having a chat right now?
Oh my goodness. So then let's see so I looked up the career ladder for Pfizer. Where I saw where I would go, like, you would be outside sales and then eventually like hospital sales, and you would be internal, like VP sales, blah, blah, all that stuff. And it just wasn't for me. Like, I just didn't want to go up any further. Like I enjoyed being right outside and I did not want to go into the hospitals. I did not want to go into the physical, like Pfizer headquarters to like report in day. And I had an opportunity to join a Caribbean startup, a Caribbean media company that did a plethora of things. I mean, they hosted events at clubs, they hosted huge reggae festivals, they hosted like a magazine that they produced. They also sold products. Like it was just everything possible. And they had like a radio show. So I had an opportunity to join that, and I jumped and I did everything possible. And it was like the smallest of teams. So you had to really like, you were the head chef, cook, bottle washer. You did everything. Like if it was
sounds like you were hanging out with fellow Jamaicans, because that's the only person who uses that phrase except for me and my family.
Oh my gosh, Laura, are you Jamaican?
Of course.
Okay, so you get it. Yes, me too.
Of course. Yes, you do every blasted thing.
Yes. Okay. Like you do every single thing. You just get it done. Like it's like, oh, that's not in my job. Yeah, right.
That's not my job. No, that what? No.
Mm-mm. And just jokes on jokes on jokes. Like, so it was
woefully inappropriate. Like that, you probably had no HR department, because if you did, everyone would get in trouble.
Laura, there was no HR department, and there was like, so we also had like, it was, so we had like a radio station, and you had to have advertisers, and they would be Caribbean advertisers. Right?
Jesus.
Laura, let me tell you, like, it was back in the day when you would have to, like, there were certain ones who were advertising, and I'm not going to say their names. We were like, all right, yeah, you know, you can advertise. It's totally fine. And then for them to pay us, we'd have to go to their offices to pick up our payment, the check. And we would get and it was the funniest thing I'll never forget is like this one person, like they gave us the check and we would go and cash it and it would bounce, Laura. And we're like, and we would call them up and be like, hey, you know, the check bounced, right? And I wouldn't even dare try to like speak Pato at them because they're like real, like legit. Like my Pato is not that strong. So I'd be like, hey, you know, like your check bounced, like we got to do this. And he like literally would say back, he'd be like, oh, somebody forced you to it. I'm like, what? Like, like, and in Jamaican, that means like, he's like, somebody beat you to cash.
Do it, right.
Laura,
fast. Oh my God.
That was life then. It was just, it was hilarious. But like, you learn to deal with all different personalities and you learn to just like, you have to put out fires, you have to figure it out. And you got to make from like a penny, you got to make that into like something amazing.
Oh my God.
It was really
How
funny.
did you survive? My God. Like, are you Jamaican? Like, do you have an Caribbean roots?
Yes. Okay. So my mom and my dad, both
same
from Jamaica. Yes. But born here. I'm born here. But you know, your family's like all over the place. But yes.
Yeah, same. No, I was born in England and my parents are Jamaican.
Oh my goodness.
So we're probably cousins.
Exactly. And I have after this, I have so many questions about England, Jamaican life. like I need to know what it was like. But yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's the upbringing is the same. So now that all makes sense. It's really funny, like whenever I can like immediately tell when people are Caribbean, because like, well, yeah, of course, out of college, I went and got a real job. I'm like,
girl, like that was the point, right? Like
that's why I spent my money on the education. Like, like, you know, I went to private school. Like I wore uniforms my entire life until my first day of college. Like it's the same.
Same here. Yeah. Same here. And like and can I tell you, and here, I didn't go to school, even though I was raised in the Bronx. Like my mom wouldn't let me go to school in the Bronx.
So hell no, same.
Yes. So like where we were on the train going into like the best school in the city, or we were like driving up to Connecticut to this school far yonder here. Like this is what it was. That was my life. Like it was, she was gonna find the best school that was in the richer community, and she was going to get me in there and make me go. So yes, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there needs to be like another documentary around like what this looks like. Cause like for our kind of generations, but it sounds like we're kind of somewhat closer in age range where like what our kind of first gen parents did to sort of set us up for success. Cause I've had a number of Jamaicans on the show and like didn't know that ahead of time, and they start explaining their childhood. I'm like, wait a second, it wasn't just my parents who did this. Like, I always make the joke that like so I have two older brothers. I came here when I was 3, so I actually grew up in private schools on Long Island. But like we moved August 3rd into the U.S. from England. And my mom had my brothers, who were 10, 11 years older than me, in junior high school at a private Catholic school on Long Island on September 3rd. And like,
Laura, how?
Like,
how?
I don't know. But
I look back at all of that stuff. Like I look back at all of the stuff that my mom had me in that was not free, right? Nope. There were free stuff, but then there was also stuff that she had, and I just don't understand that. And I know she made way less than what I'm making now, Laura, way less with it. And I'm like, can you do the math for me? How did this work? How?
It is a Jamaican mother. Like, that's all I can say. It is legit a Jamaican mother. You're like, what? But it's also like it's one of the things that like, it does sort of fuel sort of a lot of my entrepreneurialness about it. Cause I'm like, my mom figured this out. So like and without the internet, without Google, why am I complaining about like, oh, this person hasn't slapped me back yet? Like, it's like, I do think it has a really nice inner resiliency that comes from that upbringing, because you see the sacrifices your parents make and why they are doing what they're doing. And when we were kids, you hated it. Like I hated, like, I can't go anywhere. Like I study a book. Like I didn't go anywhere.
Nope. You were going to an extracurricular educational activity.
Exactly. Like I never went trick-or-treating. I never went on a sleepover. My first sleepover was my first night in college at NYU because I couldn't go any further because like she was like not that far. Like she made me turn down a full ride into Dartmouth. She's like, that's too far.
Oh my goodness. No, I was a brat. So she totally made me like, I was a brat and I only applied to Fordham. And SUNY Albany was the only outside of like New York that I applied to, even though it's still in New York, but that was the only far away, I guess. That was as far as I was like,
as far as you could get.
That was the only thing that I applied to. But like, and the only reason why I did that, because here was my thought process, because I was all messed up, Laura. So this is what happened when you put your child in these private white schools. And I saw all of my like classmates driving BMWs and Range Rovers. And I was just like, well,
at
I figured
16.
this out. Yes, Laura. So I figured it out. So I said, okay, Ma, I got this. I'm going to go to school at Fordham. Okay. I'll stay here and you could just buy me a car. And I would like a BMW. That was what I said to her. And she turned to me and she was like, you need to go away. And that was that. So I was like, so I went to SUNY Albany. I was like, okay. She's like, you need to go. But you all messed up. You need to go. You need to get out of here and go away. So that was as far, and that was the only other school I applied to. I was like, I'm not going anywhere else. No, that was the only other school because I was trying to spite her. I was like, no, I'm getting a BMW. Yeah, joke's on me. But so yeah, I
tried that. The same thing with NYU. Like I got like almost a full ride to NYU, and I like demanded that I live on campus the first 2 years. And after my mom was like, wait, what am I paying for? No, you can commute. Exactly. You know where the subway is now. No. You come right back here. So I commuted my last 2 years at NYU, which was good and also bad. But yeah, they know. They totally know. When we try and spite them, it always comes back to bite us.
Yes. Yes,
without question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at this somewhat ratchet Jamaican TV station.
But like, I can't say it was ratchet because I learned a lot. So I have to just say it was more because, like, you know what it was? It was startup, but I didn't know what startup was. I didn't know, but that was like before the word startup was a word. That's what it was. It was a startup. So, and I learned everything I know from there. Everything I know. In terms of running a business now. Yeah.
How to run a business, how not to run a business.
Yes.
What relationships matter. Cause like, you know, even though I'm sure, even if that person like checked balance, like there was a relationship there where you're like, we're not going to not run their ads. We're going to make sure that we figure this something out. Like there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it all makes sense. I get it. I totally do. Okay. We're so excited to have Soho Works as the sponsor for the 29 Days of Magic campaign. You know, they're designed by Soho House, and their workspaces to help creative thinkers, businesses small and large, connect, collaborate, and grow. And it's where I'm recording all the episodes of 29 Days of Magic. It's a safe, wonderful, and collaborative experience. I'm currently in the Brooklyn location, but they have locations, one else in New York City, in the Meatpacking District, one in LA, 5 in the UK, and they give you that kind of home away from home feeling with all the tools, technology, equipment to help you do your best work. Like I said, it's an amazing location, feels safe. I've been able to meet some really awesome people, which you haven't been able to do a lot because of the fact of COVID. So it's been a wonderful experience being able to record here and help build community. So if you want to find out more information about it, please go to sohoworks.com to get more information and tell them I sent you. And now back to the show. So after working at the startup, then what happened?
What did I do? So let's see. I think I hopped around a little bit trying to figure out some other stuff because I wanted to do my own entrepreneurial business. So I did like some odd and end jobs because like typical Jamaican, I'm like, but I'm not going to sit here and like struggle while trying to figure this out. I'm going to like still work. Laura, this is the deal. Like, that's why we can't.
That's the deal.
That is it. We've had multiple jobs. Like, that's what we do. So I did.
It's not a lie. It's a thing that we do.
It's just what we do. So I was like playing in a little bit of skincare, playing in like some more sales, everything's still tied back to sales. And then my mom got really sick. She hid that from me, by the way. It wasn't until like, I feel like her nurse called me and I'm like, what's going on here? And they like had a whole sit down because I wasn't living at home. I had moved out by then. And it had brought me in and had a whole sit down to explain to me my mom had ALS and it was progressing significantly. And she needed care. She needed like care. And she also needed like, my mom was not, she wasn't accepting that she had ALS. She believed that there was some bush doctor or tea or something, Laura, that could cure her ALS or cure whatever was going on. So that kind of like put a halt a little bit on me, where I had to kind of like step in and try to like start, you know, organizing stuff for her and care wise and things of that sort. And she declined a lot. And like, but my first part when I started helping her as a typical millennial, I was just like, there has to be technology that does this. Like, why am I like, specifically, like I knew her speech was going to go with ALS, that happens. And she wasn't very tech savvy. So I knew certain things were going to go. So I was like, I need to find some stuff for her. And during that journey, I found out there are some technologies and I decided to start a platform called Tech Your Elders, which was literally just sourcing you technology to help you care for your aging parents. Because I was figuring like there has to be something. Technology. And there is, but it's just that it's not really like, it's not publicized. It's not like, you know, easily, your awareness on it is not there. So I did that while I was caring for my mom. That was an interesting journey because I started that company. And it was when I started that company that I kind of like started getting plugged into the whole Black entrepreneur ecosystem. So I was going to like the Black Women Talk Tech events. I was, you know, did founder gym, did all those type of things, you know what I mean? And like, that's when my whole world opened up where I was like, wait, so you mean to tell me like all you folks have like these interesting tech startups and you're like years on me in developing your businesses, but they're all still struggling for funding. Like funding is like not coming to them and they have great, brilliant ideas and they're making brilliant traction, but like funding is just a challenge for Black entrepreneurs. And that was when I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? Like, do I solve this whole like technology aspect for caring for your aging parents and like raise money for myself? Or do I figure out like raising money for everyone else, right? Like figuring out like, how do I fix this funding issue for Black entrepreneurs, period. So more solutions can come out. So I paused Tech Your Elders and jumped on like, I got to figure out how do we get more Black entrepreneurs funded? And then that landed me on FundBlackFounders. That's where I am today.
So 2 things. One, how have we not met before? Because I'm on the board of Black Women Talk Tech.
Laura, we met virtually. You want to know why? Because now like that I'm talking to you, I remember I took one of your courses. You have a course online, I think around something about social capital or like networking or something.
Yes, I have. Yes. The 1 Degree of Connection course.
Yes, I took it.
Well, thank you for buying one.
Yes. And I really enjoyed that actually. So we've met virtually. Just so you know.
You've done your 5 for 5. You've met your 5 people.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
We've totally met virtually and I enjoyed that. And I met probably that. And I feel like you did a Black Women Talk Tech virtual event too.
Yeah, I'm on the board.
Yeah. Oh. Well, there you go.
I mean, I speak every year there in some capacity.
Yes.
So it's like, see, the world is really, really tiny.
It is.
So wow. So tell me more about FundBlackFounders, because we all know we hear the horrible statistics, but how terrible it is. But how are you all kind of like looking to crack open this model in a smart way?
Yeah, so that's the issue, right? The whole like that statistic that everyone talks about. Oh yeah, it's less than 1% of venture capital and of bank loans go to Black entrepreneurs. But it was actually I was at one of these conferences, one of them, I can't remember who, where there was a investor on the stage who literally said to everyone, like, and it was all Black entrepreneurs in the audience. And the investor goes like, if you can't raise a friends and family round, what does that say about you? And I'm like, oh, really?
Oh,
I'm
okay. All right then.
all right. And then when I drill down, like, and you look at the data, like, and people are talking about this whole 1% number. No, you need to like peel that back. Like, here's an interesting fact around friends and family capital, which is supposed to be like that first starting money. Like, you're like, oh, Laura, you have a great idea. Let me go ahead and give you a check so you can go ahead and do what you're going to do. Like, you know, and you can sleep on my couch while you figure it out, right? That's what this looks like. Friends and family invest more in businesses per year than angel investors and venture capital, period. Friends and family. That's the biggest like chunk of investment dollars. And that does not translate for Black entrepreneurs because of the wealth gap. Like our families, for most of our like community and most of us and like we're like probably the one who has like actually gotten to the point of where we can turn around and maybe cut a check. But unfortunately, we're also like covering other things, whether we're like, you know, supporting our elders, or we're also like helping out, or we're paying off our own debt, or we're using, it's just not like the wealth gap does not give us this friends and family capital access to that. So I wanted to fix that. And I'm figuring, all right, let's figure out an alternative way. And that's what FundBlackFounders does. And what we use is we use rewards crowdfunding. So similar to like the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos, we help our entrepreneurs from start to finish of running a rewards crowdfunding campaign, right? Them building their crowd, putting together a strong campaign and running it so that it reaches, you know, lots of people and they're able to successfully raise capital. And the next iteration that we're working on is matching what they raise. And the match comes by way of organizations, public and private, who have like, you know, they have corporate social responsibility metrics they're trying to meet, or if it's a bank, they have Community Reinvestment Act metrics. So our goal is that we can make everyone into now the new friends and family round for Black entrepreneurs. Like, it can be everyone, Black, white, brown, who cares? It could be public and private organizations. We all can come together to fix this major funding gap. And when we fix that, then now there's going to be more entrepreneurs, more Black entrepreneurs who have the funding they need to go ahead and start a business or grow it. And they can now like grow into or flourish into being a bankable, whether they get bank products, bank lending products, micro loans, getting access to that, or a backable business where they get, you know, backed by investors or venture capital. So this is what we do.
Wow, awesome. And I'm sure this has not been easy. What's been a challenge in doing this where you're like, forget this, I'm going to go back to sales. But then you're like, you know what? I made it through and on to the other side.
There's lots of challenges. It's still a new, like we started in February, like January, actually 2020. So we're still pretty new. We just cleared a year and I didn't even celebrate it. We just cleared a year of being live.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Especially when there was a pandemic.
Yes, that was the best part. Pandemic launch. Challenges, I would say, what's my biggest one? I think it's just increasing awareness around crowdfunding in our community, and awareness and education, right? Like, there are some barriers around that where either you find people in our community don't know about it at all. If they do know about it, they know about GoFundMe and they instantly think, oh, like, is this like, you know, a funeral, or is this like, you know, your house burnt down and you need help? They think that, right? Versus understanding that no, entrepreneurs actually also use crowdfunding to, you know, fund their businesses, to start it, to grow it, to test things. So you get that one realm, or you get the other realm where people see like these big campaigns like the Dawn Dixons or the Isaac Hayes, who like they get put on Breakfast Club, which I love those campaigns, but then you hear people who are just like, yeah, I want equity. Like, I'm not gonna back your campaign without getting equity. And it's just a gap of understanding, like, our entrepreneurs not only need like people to invest in them, but they also, and not only do they need people to go ahead and shop at their businesses or shopping at their businesses, but they also need people who are at the earliest stage of when they're trying to birth these businesses, right? And that type of support, which is like rewards crowdfunding, where there isn't equity, you don't get ownership, but it's rewards, right? It's like you may get an early access to the product, but it's still needed, right? It's still needed to get them off the ground, because if you want to see more Black-owned businesses that you can spend your hard-earned dollars with, we have to fix the gap at the start. So I think the challenge is just like education and awareness, so that people are not just hearing these big ticket items, but then they fully understand what it is and understand like the full, I guess you can say, gamut of it, and the importance of why they have to start from not just like, okay, now the entrepreneur's already gotten past a couple of barriers and they've gotten it to this point and now I can go jump in. No, like if you look at like Isaac Hayes's equity crowdfunding campaign that was really successful, like before he even got to that point, he put over $150,000 and built out his product over a year before getting there. Dawn, the same thing. She's put money in and she's built her product over a couple of years before getting there. And my goal is we also have to support them before they get to that point, right? Because just think of how much quicker Isaac and Dawn could have gotten to where they are, right? Think about folks, how much quicker like we could get more products or more things that we really want out here if we start from day zero of getting the proper funding resources to these entrepreneurs.
Wow. Yeah, but you get there, and you slowly but surely you take that step and keep moving forward, because it is not an easy road at all. And so, thinking about that, before we started chatting, we started talking about Clubhouse and how Clubhouse is exploding. And there's been a lot of controversy around, a lot of the Black creators from around there. Where do you think, for you, where do you think it's headed? Are there new funding models that we should be paying attention to?
Let's see. So I don't know where Clubhouse is heading. I believe though, I believe everything is supposed to happen as is though, how it's happening. I don't know if you are spiritual or religious or whatever it is that people believe in. I know I believe in God. And I believe like the unfortunate events with like all of the Black Lives Matter issues, like when we went through like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, I believe with COVID happening and the pandemic happening, like all of these things, and then Clubhouse being like around that time. And now like those conversations that we need to have and that organization that we needed to like get together to start trying to fix, like to come together as a community to start trying to fix the issues that we're having, right? To try to get Trump out of office, to try to do all these different things. I think Clubhouse was an integral part in getting there and in sparking these conversations and having it in a more broader sense of where there was all different people now talking about it, right? So I think that was valuable. And I think that's the value of Clubhouse, where like it sparks these conversations within our own community that probably would not have been held if we didn't have all of the things, all the factors coming together at this time, and then Clubhouse adding this app to kind of connect us. So I think that's a good thing. Yes, I'm still challenged by, which is the conversation that we're kind of having on Clubhouse, is like, well, does Clubhouse owe us any money? Because as a culture, we move things, right? We are the reason why Twitter even works. We're the reason, like, we move any like tech that we go on or any social media we go on. If we're on there, we drive it. And we saw that with Clubhouse. We drove Clubhouse to success. And it's like now I think that will also spark, and there are conversations on there, they'll spark conversations that we need to look at how we drove Clubhouse to success, and we need to apply that to our own initiatives, right? And we need to like be awake about that and be very intentional about that, to say like, all right, so if we're able to do this for other products, like let's do this for the stuff that we're creating to make that win. So I don't know where Clubhouse is going. I just hope that we on Clubhouse like take advantage of it. Yeah. Like I hope we on Clubhouse go where we need to go. And we use it for the vehicle. Like I think it's a train, right? We get on there and take it. And then eventually I think we can get off to
when
where
you
we
gotten to where you need to go, or close to where you
yes,
need to go.
yes, yeah, it's a vehicle to get us there.
I would agree with you on that one. And for your company, like where do you see it in, like, yeah, you're a full year in, of course, in the middle of a pandemic launch, but where do you see it going next?
Whew. Where do I see it going next? I see it honestly, like we are talking with banks, we are talking with corporations, and then also we talk with like entrepreneurial support organizations and the founders. And I just see it being really a intermediary, like a strong intermediary connecting everyone to be this new friends and family, right? So it's going to be where you're going to see like, it'll be easy for an entrepreneur, a Black entrepreneur who like they have an idea, maybe they're still working their full-time job, but they come on our platform. We flesh out, you know, how they can start building their crowd around that idea. They're then able to launch their campaign, right? Their campaign goes out to their crowd shows up and helps them. And in addition to the crowd, like maybe the private organization that also wants to see that founder win shows up to match what that founder raises. Like that's what I see it being, like a true intermediary of connecting all the powers that be to get entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, the resources they need so that they can start these businesses and they can grow their businesses. That's what I see is happening with us. And we're going to just be that ultimate like catalyst to like jumpstart, no pun intended on the Crowds Act, but jumpstart these businesses to be on their way.
That's awesome and fantastic. You know, navigating all of this and being a founder and, you know, living through a pandemic and all kinds of madness, what in the world do you do for your self-care?
Oh, girl.
So that's been please,
okay.
Something.
So that's been I feel like this changes like all the time, not all the time, especially I think just during COVID, it's been like my normal self-care was travel, right? But COVID has definitely like impeded that or like canceled that. So travel was a really big thing. Hot yoga was a really big thing to me too. And that has been canceled. Now, my self-care is champagne and Peloton, Peloton workouts. That is it. Oh, like, yes. So champagne, Peloton workouts, which I, by the way, do not have a Peloton. I just do the app on my phone and like do everything outside or like in my basement. So champagne, Peloton, and then like a little bit of like Clubhouse has been there, but that's not really self-care. And a little bit of Bumble app. Oh, that's not self-care either, but
that's kind of self-torture, but we can talk about that later.
So champagne and I would say Peloton app. That's it.
Okay, what is your champagne of choice?
Fight camp. That's another one. Fight camp. Please do that one. That one's actually a lot of fun. It's like a boxing app. It's a boxing workout. And that one's actually really good. And of course it is a Black founder. So go get it. like I love it. Fight camp.
Okay. I like Fight camp. What's your champagne of choice?
Oh gosh, are you gonna judge me?
Maybe. Depends on what you say.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Dom P is my champagne of choice. And when I don't have that,
you're so stush.
Yes. Yes, I'm like, it just tastes so good. It's just really, really good.
It's better, especially with like $200. It's better. It feels better going down my throat when it's $200. I get it.
It's so good. I mean, and we're not going anywhere, so why not? So that's so good. And then, but I also drink a lot of Prosecco too. So I do like La Marca when I like whichever, like when I don't, if that's not there. And then sometimes I dibble in something else that I shouldn't, like some other champagne, but that's that.
Some lowbrow ratchet foolishness that you should not be anywhere near.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Listen, also it's a pandemic, so I'm not gonna judge.
Yes, judgment free. Like,
yeah, judgment free Jones. I mean, you start off with Dom P, so like we're good. Like, you know. If you said Bill Cart Simone, I'd be like, whoa, okay.
Listen, to take me, like, I want to go on I went on a Prosecco a Prosecco wine tasting tour in Napa, I think it was. But I would like to go on, I would like to go on a champagne one. I would like to.
Same. Oh, same. Dude, I used to drink for a living, and I also, my tolerance has gone out the damn window because of COVID. Because I was used to drinking every single night, taking a client out for dinner or for drinks. And so, like, I could, drink whatever and not feel it. Now that I have like 2 glasses of wine, I'm like, I'm sleepy.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I'm like, what's going on? It's not fair.
It is a complete wrap. But
okay, though. Yeah. All right. I mean, so fight camp, and some good Peloton app situation and champagne, but of course.
And then just swipe a little bit on Bumble and Netflix. I'm like, these are my things. This is all it's been. That's all it's been. Listen, I swipe a little bit on Bumble. A good hack for that is switch your location to San Francisco, because then it's like Christmas. Wait, what? Really?
If you girl, like, if you switch your location to San Francisco, because then you're like a magical unicorn, because we don't exist out there. And so then, like, it'll do wonders for your self-esteem. You're like, oh, I have all these matches.
Laura, what are you telling me here? Wait, so we have to have, I want to have a whole conversation. I'm so glad. This is like, I feel like I know you, and we need to talk. We need to talk. Like, that's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on leaving New York? What are you going to still, like, even through this rough part we're about to enter?
Yeah, like, New York is home. Like, I traveled every month for 9 years before COVID hit. And so I've been here for like this entire time. I haven't been on a plane. And it's been great for me to get some time home and like realize how small my apartment is. Like, realizing the bigger one. But this is home. And don't get me wrong, the minute I can fly, I am out of here for a little bit of time for vacation and stuff and just seeing friends and such. But like, New York is going to be home. Like, having lived through a pandemic in New York City, where else could I ever live again? Like, because if anything were ever to happen again, I know that I can survive a pandemic in New York City. I don't know anywhere else I could do that. And and why do you want to leave?
I don't know. I'm like, do you feel like a lot of, like, first of all, I'm trying to figure out, have the Black entrepreneurs left? Have they moved down to the South? Have they all gone to Atlanta? Or North Carolina or wherever? Have they gone? And then I'm also thinking, I'm like, do you think that we can snatch up some like New York City real estate at this moment? Like, like in the actual city, if there's stuff to like grab. I'm wondering, like, is New York City, I know they have the BNYC programming. Mm-hmm. Like, are they going to beef that up so that it's going to make it, we're actually talking to them a little bit. I'm wondering if they're going to beef that up to make it more appealing for Black entrepreneurs in the city. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, like, versus Miami is over here practically saying, hey guys, we'll give you $50,000 to start your business here. And I'm just, I don't know, Laura.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I was in college in 9/11. I was working during the financial crisis. I was actually out on Long Island during Sandy. And I was here during the pandemic. And every single time, New York has sort of rebounded in a neat and beautiful way. And so my hope is the people who stayed are the ones who get the investment to rebuild the city back in a way that's less gentrified and more diverse.
Yes.
So maybe that's why I don't feel a calling to move, because I make magic happen wherever I go. That's why I'm still in New York, and so that's my next thing. But
okay.
Yeah,
you're gonna travel to SF for your dates.
I want to make them come.
I'm done with you.
What's wrong with you? Like, I haven't done this before. What's wrong with you?
Like, come to New York. Everything's great.
New York.
I love it.
It's awesome. And also, I'm here.
That's true. That's true. And they're leaving SF too, anyways. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
You never know. I'm just saying. It's a hack. I just discovered, like, whenever I would travel with business out to San Francisco, because I'd be there, like, at least once or twice a quarter, and I would put on Bumble. It'd be like Christmas. And I was like, wait a minute, this is interesting. And then when I was bored one time during COVID, I was like, what happens if I like change the travel mode and like set my settings to San Francisco? Oh, this is fun. I mean, a lot of it is just like, it is a kind of a good self-esteem boost if you're like, oh my God, there's nobody in New York. Oh my God. And then you look at all these matches, you're like, even if I will never go out with any of you, at least it's like, it's fun to engage in a little bit of fun banter. Why not? It's a pandemic. Leave me alone.
No, true. My friends in LA, my single friends in LA tell me like everybody's in New York. And I'm like, there's no one here. Like there's nothing. Like nothing. But they swear, like they're like, no, there's no one here. I'm like, okay.
Lies from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
It's all because we're new, like in different places, we're this sort of new flavor of the month versus we're here and we're just like, vanilla.
Yeah.
And I think, and so that's why it makes it difficult. But we live and we learn. You never know.
True.
And last question, because this is a hilarious conversation and so good. Do you have a give and or an ask of the audience?
Oh, what's my give? So my give, like you can always get into, we offer free office hours where we answer any and all questions around crowdfunding, funding, Black entrepreneur life. I mean, it normally goes around crowdfunding, but it goes into everything. And you could just go on our website, FundBlackFounders.com, and click office hours to get into those. And those are free. So you can always get like feedback on whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is, just jump on in. And it happens every Thursday at 5:15 Eastern Standard Time. And my ask is just go on our platform and go ahead and back any founders campaign on there. That's it. Just go. And like the same way you may tithe to the church or you do for whatever it is, like take a portion of your budget and go ahead and back a Black founder. That's it. Go fund a Black founder on our platform. That's it.
That's an easy one. Awesome.
Super easy.
Thank you for making it so easy. Okay, so Renee, we're new pals, obviously. And we'll be having a glass of champagne in person when this is over.
Yes. Yes.
It's just such a delight to meet you, and we're probably cousins as well.
Exactly. So we'll probably also have to meet in Jamaica too. Like we are getting going.
Yes, yeah. Although I only go to the resorts, I don't visit family because
Laura, this is why I told you I know you. Hello. Same.
Okay. Stay at the resort. No.
Same.
You don't want to live in no. Really? No. Sorry, I don't have time.
No. Only true Jamaicans know that though. They understand the reason why you go stay in a resort when you go home, because if you don't,
you won't come back. So let's be real clear about this.
Yes.
Lock yourself out there.
Yes.
Yes.
So yes.
But yeah, you were such a delight. We'll put all the details in the show notes so folks can follow you, find out about how they can back an awesome founders for your platform, sign up for your awesome office hours as well, and stalk you on the internet and help you with find some Bumble dates. Because you never know. Stranger things have happened. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. This was fun. I'm like, and it was very full circle. I'm like, I did her course. I know who this is.
So you're seeing the energy in the smiley weave. Yes, I'm
Yes, I love it.
Awesome. And thanks again for joining us on our 29 Days of Magic. And that is our show.